Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the HWDSB Grade 7 and 8 Information Night, our Getting Ready for High School virtual information session. My name is Bill Torrance. I'm Superintendent of Student Achievement for Program here at the HWDSB. And on behalf of our Chair, Don Danko, and our Director, Cheryl Robinson Petrozzini, I welcome everyone this evening, and I thank you for taking the time to join us. I just want to note to the audience that we have captions available to you in a variety of different languages, including Arabic, Chinese, Urdu, Korean, Hindi, and Persian, or Farsi. Please feel free to have your presentation captioned for you. Captions are also available in English, of course, for those of you who would benefit from it. At the HWDSB, we begin formal presentations with the land acknowledgement. The Hamilton Wentworth District School Board acknowledges our presence on ancestral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee Confederacy land as determined by the Dish with One Spoon Treaty. The intent of this agreement is for all nations sharing in this territory to do so responsibly, respectfully, and sustainably in perpetuity. We respect the long-standing relationships with the local Indigenous communities, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and the Six Nations of the Grand River. And with the land acknowledgement, we also, the person who presents it, provides a reflection around their own learning. And for me, certainly in my role in the program department, which includes curriculum, teaching practice, assessment, I'm really mindful that we need Indigenous perspectives and to work closely with our Indigenous education team here at the HWDSB to ensure that our students who are Indigenous see themselves reflected in the materials they learn with here at the board. And part of my work is to learn how to do that more effectively and in a more appropriate and responsible manner than has been done before. I've introduced myself at the beginning, but once again, I'm the superintendent of program here at HWDSB, Bill Torrance. There's a team supporting in the background this evening, and I want to acknowledge our temporary system principal for learning services, Micheline Gallant, for her leadership in organizing today's event. This is our agenda for the session, providing a general welcome to the HWDSB, to share with you the secondary school locations available to our grade 9 students here at the board, talk about how grade 9 is different from grade 8, to talk about how students are supported and who's involved in the transition to secondary school, talk about some opportunities later in secondary school in grade 11 and 12 in terms of some of the exciting programming we have here at the board, and then to talk about our next steps in that transition process from grade 8 to grade 9. And I'm really mindful that many of our students in grade 7 are also attending, and we think tonight, and their families, and we think it's really important to include them in tonight's learning to start to provide you as a family time to discuss what are our interests, what are our ambitions as a family for our child, our student, and what programs really interest and inspire and engage your child as they look forward to secondary school. We have a question and answer feature as part of our Teams meeting. We use this as the tool for you as our participants to ask questions that are of interest to you. Part of the team in the background will be answering some of those questions in the question and answer feature. I'll also take some common questions later and answer those verbally to really strive to ensure everyone has all those pressing and burning questions answered. So again, welcome to the HWDSB.
When I first started high school, there were quite a few things I was worried about. I was so concerned about getting lost in such a huge school and worried about whether I'd make new friends. All my worries were put aside, however, when I found out that my new high school set up supports for grade 8 students transitioning to grade 9. I was invited to the school for an orientation where I got a tour of the school and met so many new people I'm still friends with today. I realized after that I never need to worry and I was never alone in my feelings. High school is a new, unfamiliar experience. It is bound to look a bit intimidating for all of us. The good thing, though, is that your high school understands how you may feel and has so many supports ready for you when you first arrive. Here's an example of support that I got in grade 9. This is Stormlink at Softly. We help the grade 9s with any questions they may have and make sure they feel safe. Your school might have something like this too, so you don't need to feel afraid. Grade 9 is different from grade 8 in many ways. And I would argue that grade 9 is better than grade 8. Instead of being with the same 30 classmates all day, you have a new set of people in every single class, making more opportunities to make friends. Also, you have way more control over the kind of classes you want to take based on personal interests because of electives. There are also way more club options for you. For example, my school has over 30 clubs and sports teams. Overall, grade 9 is filled with so many fun new experiences, new friends, and new opportunities for you to explore your future career. You should be so excited for this new journey.
We'll share additional student voice later, but we thought it was really important for us to um, have the voices of students who have experienced the transition shared with all of you to really help our students moving to secondary school really start to visualize themselves making that transition and knowing that how they're feeling right now in terms of wonderings or any anxiousness about making that transition are completely normal feelings that everyone who transitions experiences, and that we do have many supports within our schools. Broadly, as shown on the slide, we do have 13 secondary schools serving just under 14,000 students right now. We're immensely proud of the work that occurs within secondary schools, and you'll hear through this presentation and other presentations in the transitions about some of the exciting programs within the schools, such as Specialist High Skills Major, often known as SHISMs, specialty programs such as French Immersion, or the addition-based arts program at Glendale, or ArtSmart at Sir Alan McNabb. We have, within many schools, programs like focus courses in some sports areas, for instance. So again, we're tremendously proud of the variety of programming and courses we offer to our students, trying to meet all the various interests and needs of our secondary school students. Just take a moment here to speak about our 2 annual plan commitments that come from our strategic directions around positive school culture and well-being and student learning and achievement. And you'll notice that for all of these, for both of these commitments, we're really focused on improving our outcomes for students, be it well-being for all students or the graduation rates for all students, but also acknowledging that some students from some communities have been historically or currently underserved by our system. And part of our work is to address those and close any gaps for those students. Ultimately, we want all of our students to graduate, and we want all of our students to feel safe, supported, accepted, and included in all of our schools every day. We keep our students at the center of our programming at all times. So I did mention our annual plan just a minute ago, but you'll notice that we have a series of other strategies in place that support those two goals that I just spoke to. Moving clockwise from the top left, where our annual plan sits, is our equity action plan. Our equity action plan seeks to remove barriers to student well-being and student achievement that we've identified within the board through concrete and practical action. So an example of this would be the supports we put in place for the grade 9 de-streamed program, starting last year with mathematics and now moving into all subject areas this year. New to us is the Indigenous Education Circle Strategic Action Plan, and it outlines our commitments and action plan for improving outcomes for our Indigenous students throughout the board. Our Safe Schools Action Plan does the same in terms of identifying the work we need to do to continue to have our schools as safe and supportive environments, and to address bullying and other safe schools concerns within schools. And our Specialized Services Department is currently developing an action plan to support students who require special education supports and services. What secondary school locations and what are available to our grade 9 students? Since 2013, secondary schools have worked through our secondary program strategy that has 4 key principles. One is that all of our schools are grade schools. Regardless of the school that your student goes to or you go to as a student, absolutely all of our schools are grade schools. And within your home school, you'll have a tremendous amount of choices in terms of programming and pathways that you could be interested in and participate in. We want to make sure that our students have access to a variety of programs. And if programs within the program strategy, if some programs are not available within your school, there are pathways in most cases to taking that program in another school if that's of interest. And the last is we expect all of our students to graduate with either the Ontario Secondary School Diploma or the Ontario Secondary School Certificate or Certificate of Accomplishment. Our homepage for secondary programs is visualized in front of us. And you will see that there is a school finder that will help you identify, if you don't know already, your home school for secondary school. If you are considering specialized programming such as English as a second language, French immersion, the addition-based program at Glendale, the self-paced program at Westmount, or your student is receiving special education supports and services, there are additional programming options outlined at that website address. So how is grade 9 different from grade 8? So secondary school, one of the most remarkable things for students as they transition is that there are fewer periods in the day. So a secondary grade 9 student has 4 classes, 4 periods of school a day. Often there's many more in their day, but also those 4 periods or 4 classes are for the entire semester, starting in the beginning of September and running to the end of January, and then beginning in February and running to the end of June, where students ultimately take 8 courses. Unlike elementary school, where there are many, many subjects that students will take through the week and not necessarily every day. In a secondary school, you'll take the same 4 courses every day for that period of time. So you can really focus and deeply understand and deeply learn the curriculum in those areas. The key difference also in terms of what happens when you pass about 50%. And of course, in secondary school, is you earn a credit. And in secondary school, you're working towards earning 30 credits, 18 compulsory, meaning the government has, through the Ministry of Education, has directed what those 18 credits are, and then 12 electives. It's critical to earn these credits as you progress towards graduation. And one of the benefits that students, and it was mentioned by our students just previously, is that as you progress through secondary school, you will have more choice. And in grade 9, you have 2 elective courses that you can choose from. And the number of electives you can choose from then grows in grade 11, 12, grade 10, 11, and 12, where you are taking fewer of the compulsories and more of the courses that possibly really inspire you. Just to highlight what I just shared, we shared a sample grade 8 timetable here with your nutrition breaks and your variety of courses through a 5-day rotating schedule, which is significantly different than secondary, where your timetable will likely look something like this potentially, which is having you with 4 courses and a lunch, with a lunch in between. 2 of our schools are on 5-period days, so lunch itself is actually the same duration as one of your course periods. And now we have another student speaking to their experience.
Personally, what excited me the most about high school is the fact that everything was going to be new to me. New friends, new school, new teachers, new possibilities, basically a new learning environment that I could use to help myself grow as a student over the course of the next 4 years. And, while I get this can sound scary, I encourage you all to be optimistic. High school can present you with so many unique and exciting opportunities that you can use to your advantage. You can do a co-op to get some real work experience, or try out for a sports team, join different clubs to connect with like-minded individuals, or start your own. This is a time to really put yourself out there and learn things about yourself that you didn't know before.
We're now moving to talk about some of the supports in place as you transition to secondary school. So as noted, we do provide supports currently at the secondary school that you'll be attending, and in some cases at the school board level to ensure success. So this chart very much outlines the continuum of support and the work that goes into carrying those practices and supports that helped you be successful in elementary school into secondary school. In elementary school, your homeroom teacher typically is your caring adult. It's the first point of contact for concerns, questions, support. You're supported possibly by a learning resource teacher. You have your principal and vice principals. Some schools have elementary student success teacher or other supports in place, ESL teacher, for instance, to support you in your journey. Secondary school is similar in many ways. Your classroom teachers are the point of contact for each of their subject areas. Your work with a learning resource teacher will transition to secondary school. Your principal and vice principals, you'll have 2 vice principals and a principal. They'll continue to also be a support, but you'll now, for the first time, have a guidance counselor in the student services department. And they'll, as you go through your secondary school experience, they'll support you in becoming aware of opportunities that meet your interests, to help you in your course selection process, and eventually help you with your post-secondary or after graduation destination, be it any of the destinations that we very much support. Some students will go to university, some students will go to college, some students will go to an apprenticeship program from our schools, some will go directly to work or to the community. And all of these programs, all of these pathways, we value equally, and we want to support our students in making the choice and moving to the pathway that best supports who they are. You'll also note that our secondary schools have student success teachers. Some of our schools have additional supports, and this goes back to our commitment in terms of closing well-being and achievement gaps, graduation gaps for currently and historically underserved students. So we have an Indigenous transitions consultant who supports Indigenous students in transitioning from grade 8 to grade 9. We have in some of our schools graduation coaches for Black students. We have the Niawe program in several schools, which is, again, another Indigenous education support to students, which includes some counseling. We have educational assistants that take a mentoring role within schools. We have settlement workers for our newcomer students who have arrived new to Canada to support with settlement needs. And all of our schools have social workers to support students as needed. Also within schools, we provide a variety of different resources depending on the needs of students. Schools will have universal nutrition programs that all students can access. There are clothing closets where there are needs in terms of clothing. We have positive space groups for students who identify as needing one. Niawe, I spoke to again, is a space typically has rooms where their programming occurs. We have prayer spaces in our schools. Public health nurses provide supports and programming to students. And we also have a variety of different student groups supporting racialized students. So moving on to opportunities in grade 11 and 12. So again, speaking to our pathways and the support we provide to them. So as I mentioned before, university, college, apprenticeship, community living, or are going to work. We do very much through your career in secondary school want you to really think about those questions around education and career life planning. You know, who you see yourself as, and identifying the opportunities in front of you, and what are your aspirations? Who do you want, or what do you want to become? And creating a tangible plan, and using the individual pathway planner that we use called Zella. Can begin as early as grade 7 and starting to with students accessing that in their classroom and into grade 8 to very much support those considerations. There's a wealth of research that speaks to having students explore different possible future career goals and programs really benefits them by making a more informed decision around pathways, course selections as they move through secondary school. So we have some of our exciting programs and quite a few acronyms. So I'll apologize in advance, but I'll move from the clockwise from the top left again. And cooperative education, or co-op, is exciting program open to all students, programming open to all students. And typically in a co-op program, a student is spending half a day in one semester, beginning grade 11 and grade 12 typically. And they are an unpaid employee of one of our co-op employer partners. And through that experience, students are able to really gain not only workplace skills and to have a sense of what it is to be in a workplace full-time working with adults. But they also begin to really understand who they are and some of their aspirations. Some students we find in co-op believe they were really interested in perhaps being a teacher, and they did a co-op in an elementary school. But they decided, for instance, that wasn't for them after their co-op. They enjoyed it, but they didn't see themselves doing that. So we very much encourage students to take co-ops as part of their exploration of who they are and what their interests are in post-secondary. Experiential learning really speaks to a variety of different opportunities for students that can occur through secondary school. OYAP is the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, where students can actually leave secondary school, begin an apprenticeship, and continue still to graduate, but also work toward some of their apprenticeship hours and start to consider moving to college for students who are interested in this. It's a very powerful program for students who see themselves working in areas such as automotive, personal support workers, and a variety of different skilled trades. Specialist high skills majors programs are grade 11 and 12 programs that are really designed to and have a co-op component, but designed to really focus a student's education in a given economic area or sector, such as arts and culture or transportation, and by doing that, the students develop a variety of different skills and experiences in that area, again, providing that opportunity to understand themselves and explore an area that might be a post-secondary destination. Really critically in the specialist high skills major programs, we partner with a variety of community agencies. Students get in-depth training in areas including health and safety and first aid. They also have contextualized learning activities, they're called, but really learning experiences tied to their economic sector that they're interested in. So again, very powerful learning. The International Baccalaureate program is at 2 of our schools and provides an opportunity to complete secondary school and earn credits that at an international standard that can be used and applied to universities throughout the world. And dual credits is another very exciting program where students participate in classes that are often team taught with a HWDSB teacher and a Mohawk College instructor, or are occurring on Mohawk College campus. And it provides students with the opportunity to begin earning credits towards a college program while still earning credits towards their high school diploma. Students absolutely thrive within this program. It gives them an opportunity to visualize themselves in a post-secondary program in an area of their choice at Mohawk College. It's a program that we're really quite proud of here at the HWDSB. Next steps on your journey. So our roadmap here, just to walk our way through it just a little bit. We have had virtual or in-person open houses, and now we've done that was in November. Just to start the process, this is our information night for the system. And now our work again turns to the schools, where there will be a grade 9 information night in January. Each school has its own separate night. And so there'll be communication around times and dates for each individual school. They'll occur through the month. which then begins or sets us up to spend most of February into March for our grade 9 students to select their courses. 6 of their courses are really set for them. In the grade 9 program, there's no selection between, or there's no longer in de-streaming academic or applied in grade 9. So those courses are set for students. So the decision-making is really around your electives. And electives may be in areas in the arts, in technology. It could include business studies, for example. There's a variety of choices available to students and a variety of courses. Schools can offer some variety in courses themselves, but certainly your school during that presentation in January will speak to that. And then after that point, and parents and families, caregivers, you will have an opportunity to sign off on those courses from your student, your child. Then we also have, after that, we start to move to our transition activities where schools are invite students in to get to know the schools, start to get to know their teachers. And those events happen from March all the way through to the weeks before school begins. It's very exciting. You'll see down the right-hand side, there are some of our other programs, addition-based, the Westmount program and French immersion, and they will communicate separately in terms of some of their next steps in the course selection process as well. So as I mentioned, our grade 7 and 8 information nights are our next step in this process after our winter break.
Now that we've covered some of the key differences between grade 8 and grade 9 and talked a little bit about what it's like attending high school at HWDSB, it's time for the question of the hour. Why choose Hamilton Wentworth District School Board?
We could definitely go on and on about some of the amazing programs and opportunities offered at our schools, like co-ops, specialist high skills majors, and international baccalaureate programs, advanced placement courses, and all of that jazz.
However, what we really want to leave you with today are some of our personal experiences when we were deciding what high school to go to.
It was so nerve-wracking when my teacher gave us our option sheets mid-grade 8 year, and discussions erupted about which schools everyone wanted to go to. All of my friends were set on attending the Catholic school in my area, and I was on the fence on switching boards just to be with them. I started looking into the pros and cons of each school in my area, and I found that the positive community that Saltfleet had to offer really outweighed all else.
Yeah, and my experience was pretty similar. I mean, I was kind of nervous to start high school, and I had friends that weren't going to be with me in grade 9, but I remember we had our high school orientation at Ancaster High in the weeks leading up to our first day, and the activities and the positive culture that the student leaders at the school kind of reinforced made me feel so comfortable, and I got to meet people who I'm still friends with today. And I went into my first day of grade 9 feeling confident, feeling prepared, and ever since then I'm now in grade 11, and I just look so fondly on my experiences at my school. I couldn't have asked for a better school environment. I love the support that we have from staff and the support that we as students give each other.
Exactly. And looking back, even as grade 11 students, and throughout the pandemic and all the struggles that we had to face with online schooling, we managed to stay connected to our school communities and overcome these challenges together.
Yeah, it was really special. With that, we do want to say thank you all so much for attending this session, and we hope that our stories were able to shed some light on what it's like to start high school and the incredible journey it's certain to be.